Electricity Minister Dr. Kgosientsho Ramokgopa has acknowledged the negative impact of load shedding on South Africa's economy. He says the economy cannot grow for as long as there are power cuts. Ramokgopa made the remarks while briefing members of the media at the ANC NEC meeting in Boksburg.
There's no way that the South African economy will grow for as long as we have load shedding. And of course, the Minister of Finance can do, however, how much he likes, tinkering at the margin. If you have not resolved the fundamental and underlying problem of load shedding, of the inefficiencies on the logistics side, the South African economy will not be able to realize its potential.
Minister Ramokgopa warns that the country is not yet out of the woods despite reduced levels of load shedding this summer.
And I'm quite confident that you are going to see significant amount of reduced intensity of load shedding. And in fact, you are going to have, it's going to be very common going into December that you are going to have days without load shedding. And I'm confident that the amount of generating capacity will exceed the amount of demand when we are during the summer period.
Newzroom Afrika's Juniour Khumalo joins us now in studio for more on the three-day ANC National Executive Committee meeting in Boksburg on the East Rand. Juniour, good to speak to you. Just give us an update on what transpired. What were some of the key outcomes from this NEC meeting?
Thank you so much for having me. So initially, what was dominating the proceedings was the ANC's demonstration of support and solidarity towards the people of Palestine. We saw the president of the ANC, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, give a strong address against what was happening, saying that this could lead to a genocide. Those were the words that he used. And then we had an engagement with the ANC's Secretary General, Mr. Fikile Mbalula, who touched on a number of topics in terms of what this NEC is supposed to achieve. He also spoke about the utterances that have been said by former President Thabo Mbeki in terms of his condemnation of the ANC. Let us listen to what he had to say.
President Mbeki and his views about the renewal could be justified given the pace and where you want the organization to be at. And in this particular instance, if you are an organization which has got elders like him, you don't argue with them. You embrace what they say as a constructive criticism, even if they have to raise it in public, in the midst of our enemies. It's still fine with us. That's what makes the ANC better.
That was the ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula speaking about the utterances that were made by Thabo Mbeki, who has condemned the ANC, saying that its renewal process was not being achieved, actually. And Mbalula said this was not true with the ANC actually investigating its own leaders. He gave an example of President Cyril Ramaphosa, saying how the Phala investigation by the ANC's Integrity Committee had been concluded, and it was amongst one of 91 investigations that have been concluded. They shall be tabled in front of a special NEC that is going to sit after this current NEC that has set, and it's going to make recommendations in terms of what is going to do, what is going to happen to the president, and not just the president who's going to be the face of the ANC when the ANC campaigns next year. It's also Zweli Mkhize, who has been deployed by the ANC to KwaZulu-Natal to be the face of the ANC in that province, because we know the challenges that the ANC is facing there.
But the issue of renewal is not simply limited to let us take to task these individuals that have been accounted, the 91 individuals that have been accused of corruption. It's actually about renewals, about there being no corruption, or at least a massive cut.
Yes. No, indeed. He said that, but this is a show of force by the ANC that we cannot tolerate corruption at all. He also spoke about how they were trying to recoup some of the amounts of money that were stolen during the state capture years. So those were part of the deterrents that were happening at this point, so that the current crop of NEC members would not engage themselves in corrupt activities.
Don't know if you have the answer to this, Junior, but the irony of it is that Zweli Mkhize was forced to resign under a cloud of the Digital Vibes scandal, and he is the very individual where the ANC is proclaiming a state of renewal that is the face of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal when he has not been cleared.
Indeed, that is a very confusing scenario, but given the situation that is happening in KwaZulu-Natal, in 2021, the ANC suffered great losses when it comes to the local government elections there. And when it came to last year, when the ANC was leading up to its national elective conference, Zweli Mkhize got a lot of support from KZN. So I'm guessing the ANC thought that this man is widely supported in KZN. So hence them deploying him to KwaZulu-Natal. We're not sure whether this integrity committee report is going to clear him or not, but Mkhize has said that there is no case currently against him in any law enforcement systems. So that's why he believes that he is justified to still be in the ANC.
Okay, any other issues that came out of the NEC meeting?
So they spoke about how the the law enforcement, especially the ministers in that security cluster, will actually be briefing the NEC tomorrow. In terms of the cash in transit, we saw that there's been a spike when it comes to those. And also there are going to be issues around water. There's been struggles with regards to water supply in Joburg, in other provinces. And Mr. Senzo Mchunu, the Minister of Water and Sanitation, will also be delivering some talks around that within the NEC meeting.
Now, you talked about President Cyril Ramaphosa, who is the president, obviously, of the ANC, and Zweli Mkhize as faces of the ANC, one nationally and the other in KZN. Are we starting to see the ANC putting together their campaign or outlook for next year's election?
Indeed, this is part of the reason why this current NEC meeting is gathering. It's just to look at the manifesto review process, how it has been going. We know that there have been challenges when it comes to that. The ANC's national chairperson, Gwede Mantashe, saying some unsavory utterances when it comes to South Africans, suggesting that they are lazy, and the ANC has created that laziness amongst the citizenry in South Africa. But also, this NEC will look at the candidate process, the candidate selection process. It's coming to an end tomorrow, and they will be getting a list of those candidates that were selected. They're going to look through them in terms of vetting, look at whether they have criminal records, their education, and then come up with the people that are going to be faces of the ANC's campaign provincially and nationally.
Now, you talked about the security cluster, if I heard you correctly,
yes.
And they will be presenting to the NEC tomorrow. Obviously, crime is an issue. One of the conversations that we had on News at Prime this evening was around the politically motivated killings in KZN. Is it something that they're likely to address, or try and, at the very least, bring those in charge, people like Police Minister Becky Cele, to account, or at least encourage them to do as much as they can ahead of next year's election?
That's something that the Secretary General did not touch on in terms of political killings, but he spoke about the security cluster as a whole coming to account to the ANC's NEC. One of the things that he spoke about was illegal mining as a crisis that is currently gripping the country. So we are yet to find out what they're going to discuss tomorrow, but we will definitely give an update on what the Police Minister is going to speak about.
Well, Juniour Khumalo, I know you'll be covering that. Appreciate your time. Thanks so much for speaking to us on News at Crime.